Welcome to Midwest Sportsnet. I'm Joey McWilliams. I am joined today on the summit by the Emporia State head football coach, Coach Garin Higgins, in his 15th year with the program. And, Coach, it's a privilege to get to visit with you today. You're coming off a victory on Saturday in the Live United Bowl, 48-27 over Southeastern Oklahoma State University. Can you talk about that win to get started?
Yeah, it was a great win for us. Very honored to be able to make it to a postseason bowl game. Of course, we came up just a little short, not making the playoffs, but I think this is a great senior class that we have here at Emporia State, and I felt like that they deserved the opportunity to go play another game, deserved the opportunity to go out with a win. 19 of those, out of those 19 seniors, 14 of those guys have been here for 4 or more years, so they've invested a lot into this football program. So it was a special win, not only for that group, but, just our program in general to finish out the year 9-3. In the history of Emporia State, I think there's been 8 times that this football program has won 9 or more games, and we have done it 5 times in the last 10 years out of those 8 times. So that's means something. The other part about it is just that our guys, it helps in recruiting, of course, and end the season on a positive note. I think it builds momentum going into the spring, into winter conditioning, and our guys played really well. Of course, it was it was great to be able to play the team that beat us last year. We played in the same game, and very rarely does that happen where you play the same team. And we had got beat the previous year, and so it was good to kind of avenge that loss and do it in the fashion that we did it, because I felt like we played, for the most part, I thought we played really well in all phases. We had a couple things that I think we could have been better at, but our kids went down there with the purpose. They were prepared. They were locked in. Great win.
Coach, I agree. I had the opportunity to watch that game and get to call it, and thought that you all executed well in all phases of the game. It was just a well-played game by the Hornets. I want to talk about that a little bit more. Let's stay with the season just for a moment. 9-3, as you mentioned, first winning season since 2018, but winning records in 7 of the last 10 years, postseason appearances as well, bowl games in 3 of the last 4 years, winning 2 of the 3 there. But the Hornets have had a fantastic decade under your tenure.
Yeah, we have had. If you look where we're at in a lot of different, just how this league is and how tough it is, and how, each and every weekend, every Saturday, it's a true test. I think it's the best Division II conference in the country. But for us to do those things have been magnificent. I've been very blessed. I say this all the time. I have a great coaching staff. They do an excellent job. They understand how we want things done here. And as well as I do, if you want things ran a certain way, or you want to have a certain culture, your assistant coaches, they got to be the messengers, right? And they do a great job of that. A lot of those guys on my staff played here within the last 10 years. Okay. So they understand it. And I think that people don't realize what we have done here. With the stability and some of the roadblocks that we've had here before in the past, those things are getting moved out of the way now. We have a different administration here. I'm going to start with that too. Like, we have a different administration here that is forward thinking and they've seen what we've done with not having little. All right. From a facility standpoint and all that, and us be able to accomplish the things that we've done within the last 10 years. So that's even exciting, moving forward with this university and what the plans that the administration, starting with our president, has for this university, I think is huge. But I've had a special group of players. I think the coaches do a great job of recruiting families and recruiting the right type of players into our program. It's not perfect. We make mistakes. but we do have a certain system we use here, and trying to find out our kind of guys. We call them OKGs. Our kind of guys that are going to fit in here at Emporia State. I will tell you, sometimes we may not have the most talented team in the league, and we were, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league this year. But we have one of the best teams, a connected team, a team that is invested in one another and care about one another. And that has been huge for our success here in the last 10 years.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you sharing about the assistants as well. Let's talk about that team just a little bit. We start with the quarterback in Braden Gleason. We had a chance to visit with just a little bit earlier, and that was really enjoyable to get to hear from him. His game on Saturday, and I know you've seen the numbers already, 22 for 34 passing, 253 yards, 7 carries, 34 yards, 5 touchdowns passing, no interceptions. And before you hit that, let me just go ahead and give his season numbers really quickly. 3,404 yards passing, 295 yards rushing, 3,799 yards of total offense, just one shy of 3,800, and 33 passing touchdowns, 7 rushing touchdowns, 40 on the season. That's an all-around package. I mean, that's just a fantastic year.
Hey, he's first team in my book is what I'm going to tell you. All right? I mean
and he should be.
And I say that, I mean, again, he is he's very humble. I coach him, so I'm biased. I mean, I think he, deserved, should be awarded a little bit more than maybe what he's been awarded here at the end of the season with accolades and things like that. I mean, because he is the guy that drives our bus, and he has done, and he's been in some good company with some other good quarterbacks here, but he is played outstanding this year. I think he got better from last year. Wasn't really highly recruited coming out of high school. He's a left-hander, which I don't recruit left-handed quarterbacks, but I went. I think I might need to change that since he's done such a great job for me. But he wants to be a football coach. So you can imagine, I'm a coach's son. He's the coach's son. All right. I played quarterback. He played quarterback. He's way better than me. I was very good, but just wanted to coach. So we have a lot of the same thought processes. Like talking to him, I feel like I'm talking to a coach. He absorbs. He's a sponge. Okay. Like he studied past. Here's an example of how he is a quarterback. He has studied past quarterbacks that have played here. All right. Guys that were not even here, that played for me, that were very successful. He's watched their games, okay, and tried to emulate those guys. Of course, bring his own touch on it, but just because our offense hasn't changed a lot. I mean, we've tinkered with it, but he wants to see how those other quarterbacks performed in previous years. He's a student of the game. He is. And I think that's what makes him better. He's talented. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He'll tell you that, but he gets rid of the ball quick. He throws in rhythm. He protects the football, and he drives us. He really does. And he's been fantastic this year in his leadership. I think that's going to continue to grow. And I'm very excited about him coming back next year, because we got him back.
We're here on Midwest Sports Net with Coach Garin Higgins, and I would encourage you, please take the time to like this video and share it and subscribe to the channel. We talk about small college sports and more throughout the Midwest and beyond, and every subscription helps. So please do that today. As we're here with Coach Higgins from Emporia State. And Coach, on Saturday, having the chance to watch the game which you all played, again, executed well on all sides. Defense did a fantastic job, too. Put the offense in a good position throughout the day. 4 turnovers as well. Led by Cade Harrelson, 7 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, a pair of sacks. He was the MVP of the game. Declan Hobb, 3 tackles, had a sack, had a scoop and score, his first of the season, and just a great job all the way around on the defense. Held Southeastern 0 for 3 on 4th down, too, when they were trying to make things happen.
Yeah, I thought the turnovers were huge. Getting those, especially there in the first drive, I think really set the tone. They moved the ball a little bit on us, and then they got down there inside the 30, and we got a turnover, and we were very efficient offensively, and we're able to work with the short field a lot. the thing about it is every time we had the short field, we put points on the board. But it started with the turnovers, and kind of I think that kind of helped really maintain the momentum throughout the course of the game. I thought maybe in the third quarter a little bit, into the third, and then in the fourth, we kind of gave up some passing yards. Of course, they were, anytime you're going to be playing from behind, you're going to be throwing the ball about every play. So I think we gave up some yardage there. And then offensively, I thought we kicked 2 field goals. I wish we would have scored touchdowns on those drives, but our kicking game has been outstanding here the last 6, 7 weeks. But it started with those guys. I think, going back just within the season itself, I think defensively, it really set the tone, meaning that we were so good on defense. We were so much better this year defensively. I think it helped us have that success that we had this year. I think in years past, we've been able to, or for us to win a game, sometimes we had to outscore people. And that begins to get really difficult to do. In the years we've been really good here, we've always had really good defenses. And this year was very indicative of that, where we were very good defensively, and it helped us. It really did. So those guys have been playing outstanding. They lost a lot of guys from last year too. So we got a lot of guys back on that side of the football, which is also exciting.
Coach, again, 9-3 overall, had an 8-3 record coming into the Live United Bowl, so close against a couple of MIAA opponents that did make the playoffs. And we're in an era, it seems right now, where there are some schools who say, well, playoffs are bust. And you all extended your season, had invitation to a bowl game, took it and made the most of it. Can you talk about that? I mean, for players like Corey Thomas, Jaden Poole, who now played in 3 bowl games. Yeah,
hey, and they deserve it. Like I said, I mean, they've earned that, and they earned that opportunity to go play in a bowl game, and they just those guys you just talked about, those are guys who've been here 6 years basically. COVID guys. I mean, Jade's been here 5, but those guys, man, they've invested time, and I think the bowl game is a way to reward players. If you look at our region that we were in, and you think about the conference we play in. The difficulty in making the playoffs, all right, is I mean, yeah, it's going to be very difficult. There were 3, I think 3 or 4 8-3 teams. I think 3 for sure, 8-3 teams in the playoffs. All right, we were finished 8-3, but we didn't get in. And the reason why is because of the region we were in. Our region had the top, basically the number 1 ranked team, the number 4 ranked team, the number 5 ranked team, and number 8 ranked team in the country. All right. In our region. All right. We had an undefeated team, Pittsburgh State, in our league that went to travel, had to go on the roads, second round. So again, I'm getting a little bit off. I know I'm getting a little bit off the question you asked, but it still goes back to being able to honor your players and be able to play in a bowl game, get those extra practice times with your younger players. We were able to do that too as well. So again, I wish they had more, honestly, Division II bowl games.
Well, Coach, and I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that too. And I'd ask you one other question then. I know that you had a little bit of time to maybe recoup just a bit from the season. I know there's the off-season weights and all that to come. By the way, Merry Christmas coming up. But also,
Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you. Can you give us an early preview of 23? You do have some players coming back.
We do, and you've been talking about one of them, of course, starting with our quarterback, Braden Gleason. He'll be a 3-year starter. Man, that's huge. Him coming back. We have basically 2 starters back up front on the offensive line. We have our Billy Ross, who's second team all conference tailback. We have a second team all conference receiver in Jalen Varner. And we have Tyler Common, who's honorable mention all conference, who I think led our team in touchdown receptions this year. He's back. Tommy Zimmerman, who's our starting stinger back, S back, is back. So like we got a good nucleus. And then you look over on the defensive side of the ball now, we return a lot. Now we lose Dawson Hamas, who was a great player for us, and Jaden Poole, who you spoke about earlier, and Cade Harrelson. Those guys have been outstanding. Derek Maxwell. But besides those guys, we return probably 7 starters defensively, and they did an outstanding job. And we probably lost the most starters on offense, but the guys that we have coming back are difference makers. They're difference maker type players, like Braden, Jalen and Billy Ross, those guys. I mean, so if we can put a few pieces of the puzzle back together of what we need, and then hopefully have some of these younger guys that, and this is how we like to do it here, is, we try to bring these guys into our program and develop them and then cultivate them to where when somebody leaves, say at Dawson Hamas, there's somebody there to step in Dawson's role and ready to that's been here already and understands the defense. It's not like I got to bring in a transfer, at midterm. That's how we want to do it. All right. Now we know we're going to have to bring in a few transfers. But I use an example of like Jace McDowell, who played for us the previous year, is now coaching for me, but he was an All-American Mike linebacker, basically a 4-year starter for me. When he left, Declan Hobbs stepped into that role, was a kid we recruited in high school, been in our program for 3 years, and it was his opportunity, and he did a great job for us this year. So there'll be some of those guys that will need to step up, but I'm looking forward to next year.
All right, Coach. Well, we are too, but we'll give you a little chance to rest and well-earned rest too as well. 9th victory, a bowl win, a little bit of vengeance, as we mentioned, a rematch from last year's bowl, but in style, 48-27 over Southeastern Oklahoma. Coach, thank you so much for taking time with us. Congratulations on another successful season, and we always appreciate getting to visit with you here on the Summit.
You bet. Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it.